So there is a So this map of India is showing the literacy rate of India as per the 2011 census. So except very few states, say for example Kerala, Goa, Tripura and Mizoram, where the literacy level is above 90%. In majority of the states, say for example Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, so these states it's less than 75%. So that's one of the striking facts. And another fact is every month in India, 1 million people, that is 10 lakh people, are turning into 18 years of age. So that also implies that these people are getting into the higher educational stream. Okay. So in order to address that requirement of uh, 1 million people, India needs to set up at least 6 universities and 270 colleges every month to address this educational requirement. So, you know how difficult it is to create and sustain and physical infrastructures, be it a college or an university. Many of the we have already come across many of the colleges have uh, closed, and there are many colleges where there are less number of students intake. So we have been seeing all these uh, thing. So the government of India looked at alternative solutions. So they looked at digital solutions to uh, complement and supplement the existing physical infrastructure. So they came up with this what you call uh, supplementary and complementary learning resource materials like NPTEL, Swayam Prabha. So all these are supplementary and complementary learning resource materials that the government of India has created. And so you may also know like what is the significance of digital library, and why digital library. Say for example, like in the physical library we have a few constraints, and the first and foremost constraint that we have been facing is suppose if there are about uh, in the last couple of years, let's say for 5 to 6 years, the budget for library has been drastically reduced. So the institutions have their own reasons. So which implies that the access to quality educational resources are being limited. So when you have access to quality knowledge resources, the learning outcomes will also be reduced. So that is one major challenge that we have been facing in the recent past. And also in the physical library, you have a limitation in terms of how many resources you can host in the library, because I've gone to many libraries, be it academic library, research library, or public libraries. One challenge that I have been listening to many of the library professionals are they don't have space. So they don't have proper weed out policy, and they don't have space to stock the resources. I have seen in libraries uh, like bundles of books not being opened because they don't have space to stack these resources. So this is another constraint that is existing in the physical library. So apart from this, in the physical library you have constraints like you you have very limited resources, but the access to these resources, the users for these resources are huge. Say for example, if there is few copies, 2 copies of a resource available in the library, and if there are 100 people who want to use it at the same time, then it's a challenge. And similarly, uh, so I've come across a situation where students hide their books in some place so that others can't access these resources, and also people turn off this important chapter and keep the remaining book in the shelf itself. So these are some of the challenges or constraints that exist in digital library. So the government of India looked at all these aspects, and also they thought they should democratize the education and provide equal access to knowledge resources to every Indian citizens. So they thought NDLA is one of the ways and means to address this uh, requirement, this challenge. So in 2016, NDLA was started as a small pilot project with very limited number of resources and users. And today it has over 4.8 crore resources uh, with 55 lakh users. And NDLA was dedicated to the nation on 19 June 2018 by the then MHRD Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar ji. So now, what is NDLA? How do you define NDLA? At NDLA, we primarily have metadata. We don't have any full text, or we don't store any full text resources. Okay, so you may know like what is metadata. Metadata is nothing but basic information about a resource. Okay, so say for example, if there is a book, the title of the book, who is the author, number of pages, who is the publisher, what are the subject it is touching upon. So this is called basic information, that is also called as metadata. Okay, at NDLA we ingest metadata only, and we don't store any full text. Then you will ask me like how will we download and read the resources? So I will take you through this a small diagram. See, for example, this is the central part is the NDLA repository. So this is the NDLA website. Okay. So what we do is at the back end, we collaborate with, basically we act as a content integrator. We don't digitize content or we don't generate content. What we do is we provide a platform wherein educational research and publishing industries can collaborate with NDLA to share their resources. Okay, so I will give you an example. Say for example, if Bharatiyar University or Anna University or Delhi University, if they say they have say 10,000 open knowledge resources, non-copyrighted open knowledge resources, which they want to share it with every Indian citizens. Okay, then we collaborate, we sign an agreement with them, and then we help them in creating an IDR. IDR stands for Institutional Digital Repositories. Okay, so we help them in setting up a DSpace, and we have a specified metadata schema which is defined. So we request them to create metadata for their those 10,000 non-copyrighted e-resources, and then link it with the text. So they will put it in their own server, and then what we do is we send a web service to say these content collaborator, and then we ingest only the metadata. The full text remains with the full book or full article remains with the institutional partner itself. We only ingest the metadata. Okay, I will give you an example. Say for example, a researcher wants to know about say constitutional law. Okay, and suppose if he comes to NDLA and he searches in the NDLA that I want to know about Indian constitutional law. So he searches for Indian constitutional law. Then what we do is we do a quick search on the topic within our metadata. And wherever this Indian constitutional law is there, we pull the results and show it to the user. Suppose if the user wants to access a resource from Indian Law Institute, that resource is coming from Indian Law Institute, then we redirect the user to Indian Law Institute. Indian Law Institute verifies the credentials of the user. If it's validated, then Indian Law Institute directly gives the full text to the user. So we basically act as a facilitator rather than a content creator. Okay, I hope I made ourselves very clear. Next, so we are, that means like the platform and the partners, we have three types of content. So what are those three types of content? One is only the metadata, digital metadata we may have. Okay, we may not have the full text. So basically like For example, Springer or IEEE, they have only shared the metadata. So if you want to access the full text, then your institution or you might have to take the uh, subscription from them. Then only you will be able to access that resource. And the second aspect is born digital object. This means, say for example, 5 years back or 10 years back, you wrote your thesis on a computer. You converted your thesis into a PDF file and wrote it in a DVD and gave it to your university during the time of submission. Okay. So now that is created in the digital format and submitted in the digital format. So that is called born digital object. And the third type of content we have is digital structure of a physical object. Imagine there was a thesis which was typed using typewriter some 30 years back. So now that thesis is available in the university in the hard copy printed format. There is no digital version. So what we do is we scan these resources and put it in the internet or in the repository of InflipNet, the Shodh Ganga. So that is called digital surrogate of a physical object. So there is a physical object and we just create a digital surrogate of the same physical object. So these are the three types of content we have at NDLI. As I mentioned earlier, NDLI does not store any contents. So there is a reason for it. The reason is uh, due to we don't want to violate the copyright norms. So as of now, suppose if the metadata is non-copyrighted. Suppose if we store the copy, suppose if one partner by mistake uploaded a copyrighted version, copyrighted material of an article, then we might be there is a possibility that the publisher or the author may sue a case against NDLI, and we have already seen it happening with the Digital Library of India. So that may be closed down. So at this point in time, metadata is non-copyrighted. So NDLI stores only the metadata, and the full text comes from the partner. So partner, we tell them that you please share only the non-copyrighted open source materials. Okay. So as I mentioned, we basically collaborate with various content contributors. So we have so far collaborated with 278 content contributors, and these are some of the logos you can see. These are some of the content contributors. I will talk about those uh, content contributors in a little while. And then what type of content available at NDLI? Okay, so we have our contents are classified as per the DDC duodecimal classification scheme. And say for example, we have resources of computer science information general works 99 lakhs, which is around 1 crore, followed by philosophy and psychology 6 lakhs, religion 2 lakhs, social sciences 45 lakhs, language 1 lakh, natural sciences and mathematics 63 lakhs, technology 1 crore, the arts, fine and decorative arts 4.5 lakhs, literature and rhetoric 7.8 lakhs, history and geography 6.1 lakhs. So this is the kind of resource we have, and in total as of today we have 4.8 crore resources. Okay, and the top 20 content contributors are listed in this slide. So World eBook Library, they are the topmost content contributor with 77 lakh resources, followed by CiteSeerX 52.75 lakh resources, PubMed Central 38 lakhs, IEEE Explore Digital Library 33 lakhs. So with IEEE, we only have the metadata, we don't have the full text resources. Suppose if your institution has taken the subscription of IEEE or Springer, then you can use these resources using NDLI itself. So NDLI will check whether this IP is bound with IEEE or Springer, then it will allow you. So they will, in fact, they will verify and then they will allow you to access the resource. And the remaining sources you can check for yourself. And then what type of resources or range of contents we have at NDLI? So we have, say, thesis, dissertation, research projects, video lectures, audio lectures, presentations, term papers, assignments, assessments, case studies, question banks, e-books, articles, annual reports, law acts, law judgments, data sets, manuscripts. So you name any major form of educational and knowledge research resources, they are available at NDLI. And article is the major popular form of resource, with around 3 crore resources are articles. Okay. And books are 64 lakhs, reports are 12 lakhs, notes are 11 lakhs, law acts are 8.7 lakhs, law judgments are 8.7 lakhs, technical reports are 7.1 lakhs, thesis are 6.4 lakhs, historical records are 5.3 lakhs, video lectures are 3.62 lakhs. Okay. So I hope I'm audible. So then, access options. So I request all of you to kindly listen, because in the quiz part we will be having questions from the presentation. So this may be one of the questions, so kindly remember it. So there are 5 different access options available at NDLI. Access options means whether you can download the entire text, or you can download only the partial text, whether it is a subscribed resource or it is only meant for the institution only, or restricted access. This can be known from the access options. So there are 5 access options, and the first access option is green lock open. That is open resources. These resources are open for everyone. So the full text is available for when the green lock is open. And the second access option is a man with NDL written on the bottom. That is called NDL users account. So you have to register at NDL, then only you will be having access to it. And the third access option is a shield with partial white. That is, you will have only part of the text that can be downloaded. And the fourth access option is subscribed. Suppose if your institution has subscribed to the resources, for example IEEE or Springer, then only you will be having access to these resources. And the fifth access option is restricted, right? So restricted is, say for example, these resources are only for internal consumption, not for external use. So those are the 5 types of access options that are available. So how do you find out whether it is a uh, uh, open NDL limited access? So at the end, below every search results, you can see the first icon that shows the access option. So here it is showing, the first one showing a green lock open. That means it's a open resource. And the second one written is ENG written, which means it is the language. And the next but icon is the type of text. So these are the 3 icons that you will see at the bottom of every resource. And open resources, we have closer to 2.74 crore resources are open resources. That means they are also full text resource. And NDLI resources are 77.94 lakhs. So if we combine these two, we have 3.62 crore resources which are full text resources. So as I mentioned, we have 4.8 crore resources, out of which 3.62 crore resources are full text resources. That is 75% of our resources are full text resources. Is the PPT visible? Because some people are saying they are not able to see the PPT. Just put it in the chat.
Visible, sir, visible.
Okay, so Miss Priya, I think you need to connect the internet properly. Go to a place where there is good connectivity, then you will be able to see the presentation. Otherwise, I will share the video with all of you, or with Dr. Senthil, he will be able to share it. And subscribed resources are 95 lakh resources. Limited resources are 28 lakhs. Authorized resources are 4 lakh resources. So this is the access right wise content that we have. And if you ask me, like, who is this content for? So the content available at NDLI is meant for all age groups without any gender barrier. So the resources are meant for starting from school going children to college going adults, professionals who are in the working environment, academicians, researchers, edupreneurs, lifelong learners. So the resources are meant for everyone. Now let's look at how to access NDLI. So it's very simple. Just go to Google and search for Google or any other browser which you are comfortable with, Google or uh, Firefox or Safari or any mobile browser, and then search for National Digital Library of India. And the first URL you will get is ndl.iitkgp ndl.iitkgp.ac.in. So this is the first URL, and there is another URL also available which is ndl.gov.in. So both the URLs work. So you just click on the first URL. So once you click on the URL, this will take you to our home page. So this is how our home page looks like. Okay. So during this time of lockdown, our team has actually created this pop-up window by classifying our resources into various educational level and educational discipline also. So I will talk about this in a little while. So now let's look at how to access NDLI resources. Search. So here I searched for a topic called History of English Literature. So first thing you need to remember in using NDLI is you should know the correct search keyword. You should remember the search keyword or put the correct keyword without any spelling mistake. Suppose if you make any spelling mistake, then the results will be different. Okay. Say for example, if literature, if you make a mistake, then the results may be different. So kindly remember this keyword. You should put the right keyword without any spelling mistake. So the first search keyword I put was History of English Literature. And then on the left hand side, we have various filter options. Okay, there are about 11 filters on the left and one filter on the right hand side. So the filters I'm just reading out. The first filter is access restriction. The second filter is author. Third filter is subject category. Fourth filter is educational degree. Fifth filter is difficulty level. Sixth filter is educational level. Sixth filter, there is a next filter is file format. Next language filter, learning resource type, source. So these are the 11 filters that are available on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, we have filters called content type. So you can see various content type that are available. Okay. Next search I made was on modern India. I request all of you to kindly turn off the video, please, because if you turn on the video, then many of the people are not able to see the presentation. They can see only you. So kindly request you to turn off your. I hope now it's working fine. So next topic I searched was on modern India. Here I applied for two filters. Access restriction, I wanted only full text resources, so I clicked on NDLI and open. Subject category, I clicked on history and geography. So I got 20,000 results on the topic of modern India. And the next topic I searched was on Indian constitutional law. Okay. So here I clicked on open and NDLI resources. Then, so for people, you just, there is a, they don't know how to turn off the video. So at the bottom, you will see three icons. One mic icon, second one is camera icon. Just click on the camera icon, then your audio will be turned off. So Indian constitutional law. So I got 31 lakh results, and then I searched for a topic called 1984. So which is one of the top 10 novels in the world. So I wanted it in English language. So here you can see the third result, which is an English language 1984 original author written by George Orwell. So this full text is available. Okay, and the next topic I searched was on sociology. So here I wanted only video lectures. So what I did was, on the right hand side filter there is a filter called video content type filter, under which I chose only video. So I got 455 results on the topic of sociology. And the next topic I searched was on microeconomics. Okay, so here I wanted resource only from Asim Premji Foundation and MIT OpenCourseware. So I got 251 results from these two sources. Next topic I searched was on human physiology. So here also I wanted only video lectures, and I got 12,788 results on the topic of human physiology. Next topic I searched was on engineering mechanics. Okay, and then I wanted only from a specific author of Sudarshan Iyengar. So I went to author and then I searched for Sudarshan Iyengar, and I got 862 video lectures from resources from Sudarshan Iyengar. Next topic was on artificial intelligence. And then I searched for pedagogy of science. So this time I searched from a source called TeacherTube. So TeacherTube is a platform where they create primarily for teachers understanding. So TeacherTube, you can access the resources. And then the next topic I searched was on rural marketing and subject category of technology. So I got 1,38,000 results on the topic of rural marketing. So as I mentioned to you earlier, during this lockdown, our team has actually collated the resources or classified the resources as per various educational level and discipline. So here you can see school, UG engineering, UG science, UG other disciplines, language, management and law. So you can click the appropriate icon and then further see what are the contents that are available for your relevant discipline. And also our team has collated resources on COVID-19. So they have collected various research resources on the topic of COVID-19, which can also be seen from this second tab, second part of this pop-up window. So this pop-up window, when you open our page, this will automatically come. Alternatively, what you can do is on the top of every screen, you can see this corona outbreak study from home. So you can just click, then this pop-up window will appear. So now let's see how to open a resource at NDLI. So say for example, I searched for a topic called research methodology and I wanted results only from Lovely Professional University. Okay. So suppose if I want to open the first result, so I have to just click on this thing. Then this page will open. The metadata of this page will open. So there are two tabs on the top. One is content, another one is metadata. So first click on the metadata and then see the basic information about the resource. So the title is research methodology, source is Lovely Professional University, content type is text, publisher is Excel Books Private Limited, file format is PDF, language English, subject domain social science, commerce, communication, transportation, commerce. So this information, suppose if you find this information useful, and then look for the access restriction. Okay, so here it shows open, which means it's a full text resource. You can actually download this resource. Then you click on content. Suppose by when you click on content, it will check whether you have already logged in or not. So on the right hand top corner, you can see I have already logged in as Vignesh Swarnamohan. Okay, I have highlighted it with the red box. Since I have already logged in, suppose if I click on content, then the entire 338 page of content will get downloaded into your desktop or laptop or to your mobile phone, depending on the device you are accessing it from. And then now you can use these resources for educational purposes only. Okay, suppose if I am not logged in, okay, on the right top corner, you can see I have not logged in. It is asking me to log in. So when I click on content, it will check whether this whether I have logged in or not. So if I have logged in, it will download. Suppose if I'm not logged in, it will ask me to log in. It says please log in to view this content. Then you click on this login, then the top this pop-up window will appear. So it will ask you to log in with your email ID and password, and then enter the captcha and click on login. Suppose if you have forgotten you created your account some few months back or few years back, but you forgot the password, but you remember the registered email ID, then what you can do is click on account recovery, enter your email ID and then submit. Okay, once you submit, you will get a password reset link. You just have to click on that link, reset your password, and then you can come back and log in with your email ID and new password and enter the captcha and log in. Okay, imagine you have never registered at NDLI. In that case, what you need to do is click on this register icon, and then this registration form will open. This registration form will capture 4 mandatory details, which is your full name, email ID, password and confirm password. So these are the 4 mandatory details that will be captured. Rest of the details are only optional. So you just fill the basic details and then submit. Once you submit, you will get a verification email. Just verify by clicking on the URL, then your account will get activated. You can come back and log in with your email ID and password. Suppose if it's a video lecture, this is how the video lecture will look like. It will come in the frame itself. So for accessing NDLI, you need to remember 2 important things. The first important thing is, as I mentioned earlier, you need to enter the right keyword without any spelling mistake. That is the first part. And the second important thing you need to remember is the various filter options, so that you can narrow down the search results. So here I'm going to talk about some of the important filter options. The first filter option is important filter option is access restriction. Suppose if you want only the full text resources, you just click on open and NDLI, then you will get only the full text resources. The second important filter is author. You search the keyword and then look for the author which you are looking for. Suppose if you want resources only from YWANG, just click on YWANG, then you will get the resources only from YWANG. And the third important filter is subject category. So depending on the search keyword you put in the search box, you have to choose a subject category. Suppose if you put agriculture technology, so it may come under 2 subject category. So you can search based on the search keyword, apply the subject category based on the search keyword. And the fourth important filter is file format. Suppose if you want only PDF files, click on PDF. Suppose if you want MP3 files, which is an audio file, click on MP3. Okay, so fourth filter is file format. And the fifth filter is language. So at NDLI, we have resources in more than 300 languages. That includes both Indian as well as international languages. Okay, so you can choose the language of your choice and then narrow down the results. And the sixth important filter is learning resource type. Suppose if you want only audiobook, just go here and click on audiobook. Suppose if you want only book, go here and type book and then choose the book icon, then you will get only book resources. And the seventh filter is source. So I told you there are 278 content partners as of now, and you can choose the relevant content partner from this source. And the eighth important filter is content type. This filter is only available in the desktop application, not in the mobile application. So this content type you can narrow down depending on the type of content you require. And the next part we are going to look at is, so NDLI can be accessed in your own mother tongue also. So now the interface is available in I think 8 or 9 languages: Hindi, Bangla, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Oriya, Tamil, Malayalam, Assamese. So these are languages currently it's available. and our team is also working on translating into various other Indian languages also. And for ease of use, our team has also created a mobile app for both Android as well as an iOS. So if you are an Android phone user, go to Google Play Store or Play Store and then search for National Digital Library of India. So you will get this NDLI logo, and then publisher is in National Digital Library of India. So if you see both of them, then you can click on install and download the app. And similarly for iOS, go to the iStore and search for National Digital Library of India. Then you will be able to download the resources. So now let's look at how to use NDLI mobile app. So once you install the app, click on the icon, then you will be able to see the various. So this is how the first screen is, how the home page of NDLI mobile app looks like: subject domain, learning resource type, featured resources. Okay. So suppose if you want to search in the mobile app, then what you need to do is, so on the top you can see a search icon. Okay, it looks like a lens. So just click on this, then the search box will appear. So kindly mute your mic, please. So this search box will appear. So here I entered a keyword called Uttar Pradesh. Okay, and then in the keypad itself I searched, clicked on search. Then there were 41,573 results appeared on this topic of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, now in the desktop application we saw the filter options, 11 filter options on the left hand side and one filter option on the right hand side. But here in the mobile app you can see the filter option on the right bottom corner. Okay, so you just click on this orange color icon, then the filter option which we saw on the desktop application will appear on the top. So the third screen where you can see the filter option, source, learning resource type. So you can see all the, you have to just scroll this icon, then you will be able to see all the remaining filters. So here I went to the source filter and then I wanted resources only from Aligarh Muslim University. So I clicked on Aligarh Muslim University and then clicked on apply, and I got 199 results on this topic of Uttar Pradesh from the source of Aligarh Muslim University. Okay, so this is how we need to use the NDLI mobile app. So before we move further on this presentation, so I'm just going to uh, give you a small activity. Okay, so the activity is, there are two parts to the activity. The first part is, uh, go to Play Store or iStore, and then search for National Digital Library of India, and then download the app, NDLI app. Download it in your mobile phone, and then second part is, suppose if you have already registered, then the second part is search for the topic of your study or teaching or your interest. Search for the topic which is of relevance to you. Okay, so I've stopped the video. So stop the presentation. Now the presentation will not be there. So I will resume the presentation in a short while. So now I want you to, now we are going to do an activity. The activity is, you have to download the NDLI app, install it in your mobile phone, and then search for the topic of your topic of study or teaching or interest. Okay, so once you have installed, then what I want you to do is, installed, you have to put it in the chat message. You have installed the app, you searched for this topic. Suppose I have installed the app, then I will put installed the app. Which topic I search? I searched on financial accounting. So I searched on financial accounting, and then tell me whether you found these resources useful or not. Okay, am I made it clear? Yes, for people who have installed, now start searching for the topic of your interest or your teaching or subject of interest. Hetal Patel searched for architectural design. So now, if you have searched, or if you can also now turn on your video so that I can take some screenshots of the participants. Angel is searching on psychology, financial accounts. So it may ask you for login. So if you have already registered, if you want to open the resources, then you must have registered. Suppose if you have not registered, kindly register also. So we have given two activities. Now it's 12:50 in my system. We will resume the session by 12:55. So kindly install the NDLI app and then search for the topic of your interest and then put it in the chat message. Social work, history of English literature, about education, story of my life, develop the economy of India. Okay. Kindly mute your mic, please. Kindly mute your mic. So I have requested all of you to install NDLI mobile app and then search the topic of your relevance.
कुछ भी नहीं, क्या करना है?
So आप अपना माइक म्यूट करके रखिएगा प्लीज. Kindly mute your mic, please. Okay, so the 5 minute time is over. So now you can stop your or turn off your camera. Kindly turn off your camera, please. So I could see a lot of people have searched signals and systems, books, the mind of man. Very good. Medical libraries and got information source by PubMed Center. Okay. Library administration book unable to install right now. Okay. So if the internet is low, so kindly search. I'm requesting everyone to kindly mute your mic, please. Okay. So a lot of people have downloaded and downloaded the resources also. So that's a good part. So now I'm going to request all of you to do two or three things. One is, suppose if you find this resource or this app or NDLA useful, kindly share this resources with at least 100 people, whether they could be your students or friends, relatives, family members, fellow faculty members, whoever they are. So kindly just spread this message. Okay, so that's the greatest service that you can do for this country. Okay, and that is one. And the second request I have is, kindly uh, remember this NDLA presentation which I have shared with you, because there will be questions from this presentation. So kindly remember it. So I want, if we are about 217 people now, if each one of us reach out to 100 new people, then we will be reaching out to 20,000 people in the next half an hour or 1 hour. So that is possible. Okay, so I request all of you to kindly support us in this knowledge sharing mission, right? So now, so I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes.
Okay, so now we will move ahead. So now we are going to look at what is the difference between Google and the NDLI with this small example. So imagine there is a girl called, who is studying in class 8. So all of you kindly mute, stop your video, please. I'm still seeing a lot of videos coming in. For strange reasons, I'm not able to stop their videos, and it's not showing also. So kindly stop your video, please. Turn off your video, please. This gentleman in blue color shirt, please turn off your video. So 2% still have turned on their camera. Kindly turn off your video. Thank you. So now we will move ahead with the presentation. So I will just restart the presentation. Madam, please turn off your video, please. This madam in blue color, Shari, kindly turn off your video, please. Okay, so imagine there is a girl called Payal who is studying in class 8 in Hindi medium, and another guy called Shamik who is wanting to apply for his PhD position, and his topic of interest is magnetism, and Payal also wants to know about magnetism. Miss Sumandeep Kaur, kindly do not turn on your mic. I have been muting it and you have been repeatedly unmuting yourself. Please don't do it. So both of them go to Google and they search for the topic called magnetism. So both of them got the same results of 1.89 crore results. Okay. And then they came to NDLI and they searched for the same topic called magnetism. And then they got 11 lakh results. So what Payal now did was she applied two filters. One is educational level. She chose 5th to 8th standard, and then she chose the language of Hindi, and then she got 8 results only. Imagine where is 8 and where is 1.89 crore results. And then what Shamik did was he wanted only career and technical papers. He got 219 results. So now let's look at what is the difference between Google and NDLI based on this example. Before we get into this, we need to understand how Google functions. So Google is a brilliant tool. We don't have any competition with Google. It's one of the best. It's one of the best tools that the. It's one of the best tools that the humankind has got, but it has its own limitations. So, for example, the moment you put the term called magnetism, it will go around the World Wide Web, and then it will wherever this term called magnetism is there, it will fetch the results. Right? That's good, but it can't distinguish whether this content is coming from an authentic source or an unauthentic source, whether this information is real or fake, whether it is relevant for the user or not, whether it is an educational content or not. So Google can't distinguish all these. But whereas at NDLI, all the resources that we have, the 4.8 crore resources, are primarily coming from trusted educational research and publishing institutions. Okay, and they are all curated. They are only educational content. So that is the major difference between Google and NDLI. And the second important difference is at NDLI we have filters which are primarily designed for educational purposes. So you can narrow down the results using the various filter options. But whereas in Google you can use advanced filter, but they may not be a particular. They may not be uh, educational relevant. And the third important difference is you can use search the content based on the content type. This option is available at NDLI as well. And fourth difference is Government of India has started procuring national licensing. Okay, national licensing. So far, the government has procured national licensing from World eBook Library and South Asia Archive. What this implies is when the Government of India has procured national licensing, these resources are available to every Indian citizens at free of cost. So we don't have to, for accessing the resources from South Asia Archive and from World eBook Library, you don't have to pay a single penny, and it's all available at free of cost. So the big picture is, so suppose if you have access to internet with a digital device, you can actually like already you have this facility of credit transfer and virtual certification. So from suppose if you uh, study enroll for a course in NPTEL or Swayam Prabha and Gyan, you can transfer up to 20 credits to your regular coursework. So that is already possible. So in future, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, if you have access to a digital device, you can actually obtain these certificate, diploma, or various programs by sitting at home. So that is possible. So now let's look at how to operate NDLI club. So basically, NDLI club's objective is twin. One is first and the most important is to promote the culture of reading. So you all know, most of your librarians and faculty members, you know how difficult it is to get the children back to reading. So that's one of the major challenges that the country is facing now. So NDLI club's primary objective is to promote the culture of reading and also take the knowledge resource of NDLI to every Indian citizen. So that is the primary objectives. And how do we do it? Identify from your college or school at least one student from each class and one faculty member from each department, and then librarian or any faculty member as the ex officio secretary and principal as the ex officio chairman. And then you have to prepare this list and get it approved by your head of the institution, and then you have to apply for NDLI club registration. So we have created a small temporary NDLI Google form. So you just have to enter the basic details about this your institution, and then you attach the list of NDLI club members and give us the tentative date of starting the NDLI club, and then submit. Once you submit, we will do a back-end verification of your institution, whether this institution is existing or not, whether it is renewed. So we have a mechanism to verify at the back-end, and then if it matches with our criteria, then we issue a certificate of registration. So this is how the NDLI certificate of registration looks like. And once you get the certificate of registration, you need to do two important things. First important step is you have to enroll all the students and faculty members within 30 days of receipt. So that is the step one. And the second step is you have to conduct at least 10 reading or knowledge related activities within the next 1 year, because the certificate of registration is valid for only 1 year. So now let's look at how to register at NDLI. So registering at NDLI, you have two options. One is individual registration and the second one is bulk registration. So for educational institutions, it is better if they go for bulk registration. So for bulk registration, what you need to do is, so you have to identify, you have to collect. So what currently I'm conducting an awareness session for you. So similarly, what you do is you conduct an awareness session for all your NDLI club members. So once these members get trained, then they go back to their own classes and departments and conduct an awareness about NDLI to their fellow students and faculty members. Once that is done, then whoever is interested collect their three details. First detail is their personal email ID. Second detail is their first name. Third field is their last name, that is initial also. So collect these three details and then put it in an Excel sheet. So this is how you have to put it. So I think this slide is changing slow. So collect three details: their email ID, first name, and last name. So this is how you have to collect it in the Excel sheet. Just enter the details and then save it in the CSV format. If you know it, do it. Otherwise, send it in Excel sheet. We will convert it into a CSV format. Once you create this Excel sheet, then you have to send it to us. So the email ID which you have to send it is ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in with a copy to my email ID, which is vignesh@ndl.gov.in or vigneshjnu@gmail.com. Okay. So once you send it, within 48 hours, you will get the users, whoever you have given the email ID, they will get an account, an email to activate their account. Okay. So there they have to click on the URL, and then we will be giving them a what do you call, a temporary password. So they have to go click on that URL. By default, their email ID is their password, username, and then they have to enter the temporary password, and then it will ask them to re-enter the new password. So just set the new password and then you are all set to go. So similarly, if anybody wants to register for as an individual, so for institution, this bulk registration will be useful for one purpose. Say for example, if UGC, NAC, AICT or NAB comes for accreditation or validation, then that time they will ask you for digital library resources, whether you have subscribed to NDLI or not. So suppose if you have already subscribed, they will ask you to give you the number of people who have registered and how many of them have activated, and this time you can show them the NDLI club certificate and show them how many people have registered. For bulk registration, you can show them how many people have registered from your college and how many of them have activated. Suppose if they are registered under individual users, you may not be able to show them the numbers. So that's the difference between individual and uh, bulk registration. Okay. So for individual registration, suppose if your friends or relatives or family members wants to register at NDLI, so they can easily do it by clicking on the, so go to home page. On the right bottom corner, you have this register icon. Just click on that register icon. Then the registration form will open. So I showed you the registration form earlier also. It captures your full name, email ID, password, confirm password. These are the 4 mandatory details. Rest of the details you can fill or fill it later also, and then enter the captcha, check on the terms and conditions, and then sign up. Once you submit the form, you will get a verification email. Just click on the verification URL and then your account will get activated. So this is the registration part, and the next part is you have to conduct at least 10 reading or knowledge related activities. So some of the activities that you may want to conduct is a lecture series or a quiz competition, a storytelling session, go fish session, film screening, drawing competition, role play, writing competition, maker space or debate. So these are some of the indicative list of activities that you can conduct. So after conducting each activity, you have to upload it in the monthly activity report URL. Okay. So these are some of the activities being conducted. So at the end of 1 year, we will do a verification of uh, all the activities conducted by the institution, and then we issue the or renew the certificate of registration. And we have also devised a incentives mechanism for best performing NDLA clubs. So best performing NDLA clubs at the district, state and national level will be uh, appropriately issued. And also we started conducting reading Olympiads at the district, state and national level as well. And this is the contact details of myself and my colleague. So my email ID is, so kindly mute your mic, Dr. Amita, please. So my email ID is vignesh@ndl.gov.in, and my personal email ID is vigneshjnu@gmail.com, and my mobile number is 9999654458. And for any bulk registration related queries, you kindly write to ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in, and my colleagues who is in charge for bulk registration is Rajendra Sen. His email ID is rajendra.singh1310@gmail.com, and his mobile number is 8197 564857. Okay, so this is our contact details. So this is what I wanted to share it with all of you. Now it's time for us to do the quiz cum feedback form. Okay, so I'm going to share the URL with all of you. Just give me a minute. So as I mentioned, we will be issuing certificates only for people who submit this quiz cum feedback form. So I'm going to put this in the chat window. Just give me a moment. I will just stop sharing the screen. So this is the feedback form URL. Kindly mute your mic. I just entered the feedback form URL. Kindly don't put any chat message for the next 2 minutes, because if you all put the chat message, then we will miss the URL. So I've just entered the URL. So you just click on this URL. It will open this feedback form, and I'm going to show you how this is opening. Kindly mute your mic, please. So this is how the feedback form looks like. So it will ask you for the name of your institution, name of the participants. For people who have already attended the webinar earlier and they've got the certificate, kindly do not fill it again, because we will do a backend verification of how many people have attended. We have issued the certificate, and then for people who have not attended, for them only we will issue the certificate. So I can see few people who have already attended. Kindly check. So date of the webinar, that is today. Today's webinar date is 14th May. Don't enter your date of birth. Don't be in a hurry to fill the details. Enter your designation, your email ID, mobile number. So kindly enter your name of the institution properly, because if you make any mistakes, that will only be reflecting in your certificate. Okay, so kindly don't make any mistake. Kindly mute your mic, Mr. Sai Abhinav. Designation, email ID, phone number, and then it will ask you a question about, do you have login account for NDLI? That means, have you already registered at NDLI? If yes, click on yes. If you know, click on no. Or if you want to create it now and then click yes. And then name the various filter options available at NDLI. I told you about the 11 filters that are available on the left hand side and one filter available on the right hand side. If you remember it, just enter. If you don't remember it, kindly go to NDLI mobile app and then check, or go to the NDLI website and check and then write. And what are the various learning resource types available in NDLI? So I told you, like audiobooks, video books, books, uh, presentations, newspaper cuttings, case studies. So you have to go through the list of number of learning resource types and then enter here. I told you how many languages that the NDLI content has, and then list out 5 access options available in NDLI. I told you about 5 access options and how NDLI is different from Google, how NDLI helps you to your learning during this COVID-19 lockdown situation. Write it in 100 words. And then overall feedback about NDLI, any suggestions for NDLI to consider, and feedback about the online webinar conducted by Dr. Vignesh. So these are the this is the online quiz cum feedback form that we have created. So kindly enter, kindly fill this detail. Okay, so now if you have copied this URL, I will be opening this URL will be open till 2 o'clock. So kindly take your time, don't be in a hurry to fill, because last time a lot of people wrongly entered their names, their institution name, lot of answers. Like we should have at least 50% of your answers correct, then only we will be able to issue the certificate. If you make any mistakes, then we will not be able to give you the certificate of participation. So kindly be careful, take your time, don't be in a hurry to fill the form, and then submit the form. Okay, and if you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat window. Okay, there was a question from Angel T. Sir, any need to pay any amount? No amount is needed to be paid for getting the NDLI club. It's completely free of cost. राकेश शुक्ला जी, आपको क्या चाहिए, आप मुझे बताइए. Selma Joseph, ये in which link will we get the feedback from? I have just Selma Joseph, I have just sent you the URL in your chat window itself. So just click on this URL and this form will open. Selvakumar, where is URL? I'm just sent it to you. I've been putting it in the chat message. Please have a look at it. So Ganesha H. So the institutional registration has been stopped for the last 1 year. So you have to do bulk registration only. For that, you need to create an NDLI club and then you can do it. So Vaishaki VS, I've just sent you the URL separately. Just click on this URL. So I have been sending everyone the URL. So as I requested, I
Sir, Google Chrome is not open, sir.
आपका internet slow होगा. So your internet may be slow. That's why it's not opening, because I just showed you how the form opens. And has anyone opened the Google form? Are you able to see the form? Are you able to fill the form? If yes, kindly put it in the chat window.
Sir, we are not able to open that URL, sir. Please open.
Wait, I'm just.
Hello.
Wait. Kindly mute your mic. Kindly put it in the chat window, please. Because if everybody opens the mic, then it will be a huge. So for Divyashri, it's working. So Rudra Ravi Kumar Paligri, it's opening. Dr. Falguni, it's not opening. It was. So I don't. I just want to know how many of you have opened. Jyotsna Ranjan has opened. Selma Joseph has got it. Vaishaki VS was opened it. A lot of people have opened it. So now I'm going to put it again to everyone. Kindly don't put and enter a chat message for the next 1 minute, please. So I've just entered the URL form for Ramesh Yernagula. It's opening. Vishal Day, it's open. Shivakami K, it has opened. The thing is, your internet should be good. At least some basic internet connection should be there. Then only your this form will open. So Vijay Kumar, I've just. See, I can't send it because there are 200 people. If I collect each one's email ID and start sending, then it would be difficult. So kindly copy it from this. If you are chatting, if you are putting this message in the chat window, it means you can access this URL. So don't play around. Kindly just click on this URL. It will open in your email or in the browser itself. So don't ask me to send it separately to your email ID. So T Prasanna, I am sending it to your chat window again. Please check. So people have started submitting the form also. I am going to read out their names. There are 10 responses have already come in. So I'm just going to repeat the people whose name have submitted the form. Dr. P. Shankar, Mrs. N. Yohambal, Bandana Namdio, Praglad Taylor. I remember seeing his name earlier. I don't know. Sudhanha Kumar. See, don't be in a hurry. Please enter your name properly. If you make any mistakes, and if you make any spelling mistake in your name or in your college name, the same is going to appear in your certificate. Then after that, don't come back to me say that you have entered it wrongly, because every day I have to generate some 200 certificates. I will not be able to spend time in rectifying the mistakes. So kindly don't make any spelling mistake. A lot of people are mistaking their name. Some people have submitted it twice, thrice. Kauri Shankar, Adya. So 13 responses have come so far. So now, yes, Rupa, Roslina, I'm just sent you the feedback form. Vijayalakshmi,
Yes, sir.
Vijayalakshmi, I've just entered.
Not open.
No. See, you do one thing. You can leave this meeting so that you will get a better internet connection.